Now let's take a look at how we use the passive forms. We have the telephone and we have the pyramids. The person who invented the telephone was Alexander Bell, so we just used a simple sentence here to say Alexander Bell invented the telephone. And we know that the Egyptians built the pyramids. So how can we turn those simple active sentences into something that's passive? Well, here's an example sentence, and we can see here we have changed the order of the sentence and we put the word telephone at the beginning, followed by the passive form and then the person who did this. And the same, for example, about the pyramids, that the pyramids are now at the beginning of the sentence. We use a passive verb and then talk about the people who did this. So let's talk a little bit about why and how we use the passive. Here's our original sentence again about Alexander Bell, and we can see here we have Alexander Bell is the subject and the object in this telephone. This is a simple active sentence, and what's important in this sentence is who, the person who completed this action or who invented the telephone. We can see that the order of information has changed. Now Alexander Bell is at the end of the sentence and the object is at the beginning. And the reason we do this is because we want to talk about what happened. We're not interested in the person who did this, we're more interested in what happened. So let's take a look at some other information about the passives. As we said, it's usually used when what happened is much more important, and there's our example sentence. We also use it when the agent or the person doing the action is not important. So there's an example of a sentence where a lot of money was stolen from a bank, but it's not important who did it. And then finally we have an example where the agent is not known, and we can see in this situation with our example sentence is that we know the room is cleaned every day, but we don't know who does it. Let's talk a little bit about the forms of the grammar, and we can put them in three basic groups. We can talk about our simple tenses. We have the verb, and we have present tense, present perfect, and the past perfect form here. And this is the correct form of the verb to be and the past participle. We can also create passives with modal verbs, and in this case we need to use will be, could be, and then use the past participle. And then finally we can create an infinitive. And the way we create an infinitive is the verb to be plus the past participle, and then we have to be used. We can also use the passives in continuous forms, but we only use two. And these two forms are present and past forms. And to create these forms, we use the ing form, which is being. So the present form is or are being plus the past participle, and the past form will be was or were being plus the past participle. And then we can see an example sentence here: the crime is or was being investigated by the police. So how can we use passives in our writing? Well, the main places you could probably think about using passives is something like an essay or a report, where you can give explanations about things, and the passive might be a very good way to explain what happened without thinking about the person who did it. We could also use the passive to talk about examples, and the essay would also be a good place to do this. We don't always need to use the passive, and it's important for you to decide when you think might be a good time to use it.